Hi everybody, it's Will on Y4, and I'm here today with a video in which I'm going to teach you guys how to build an outpost like this one. This is an entry-level outpost that harvests plants and animals, and then using the fabricators over there, turning them into finished meds and chems that you can use or that you can sell. No more having to slave over a workbench in order to get these important products. So in today's video, specifically, I'm going to teach you how to do this in stages, how to develop a build budget, where we go to look for the plants and animals and which ones we look for, then how to bring them back, build out the outposts, connect everything together, and then collect the finished products in that little big container over there, actually, which we can then use for ourselves or sell. And you can see we're getting very nice production from a very small outpost. So this will be step for step. Some of you guys may have not wanted to attempt to get into greenhouses and ranches here because it is a little more complicated than just using your extractors to take out minerals and gases and so on. Plus, you get the advantage of surrounding yourself with really cool animals like this one. So all of this is possible because of a new mod, which I'm going to show you now. Here's the mod from Betamax 76 that makes all of this possible, manufacturing meds and chems available on Xbox and PC. Here's a screenshot of the factory down the road that I mentioned. You can see that this has a substantial amount of activity going on, and I hope you'll go to my videos and take a look at them. Betamax has included a range of aids and meds in his fabricators, but many of them require materials that you cannot manufacture. So my goal is to pick out the ones that we can actually make with his machines without having to go to buy any additional materials. And you can see that for the most part they are inorganic plant and animal based with a couple carbolic acids and chlorine that actually are inorganic materials. Of course, there are many locations where you can harvest or mine or grow these 13 different materials. But I've chosen the serpentis before, as you can see. I have 9 of them right here. And with just a couple cargo links, I can bring in the others from other planets so that we can make all 13 of the finished products. But for the purposes of this introductory video, we're just going to do serpentis 4. And we see we can make 5 different meds just with the materials that are available on this planet. For stages 2, 3, and 4, we need to go elsewhere and ship those materials in by cargo links. But of course, those are the more valuable ones. So I would urge you to stay tuned for the following videos on how to do that. Of course, the first step is trying to research where we would find the plants and animals we need to harvest. And there are a lot of them on this planet. Thankfully, the great guys at StarfieldWiki.net published this chart listing all the flora and fauna, the resource that they provide, what biome they're located, whether we're allowed to do outpost production, and then another sort of it by biome. Now, you'll notice a couple things on the chart. Sealant and toxin are bolded by me because they are available both as fauna and flora. But in the vanilla game, you cannot harvest them in flora. Craig root and satellite goes fine. However, with a wonderful mod called Domesticate All Flora, you're able to do that. And whenever you have the chance to, or whenever you have a choice between harvesting a plant or an animal, go with the plant, because if you build a ranch for your animals, you're going to need plants to feed to feed them. Makes sense, right? I've broken this down one more level. So here you see which biomes we need to visit on Serpentis 4 in order to scan the animals and plants that we ultimately want to harvest. Here's a summary of everything that we have talked about. Let's just take a look at the Domesticate Flora for a second. On Serpentis 4, Satellite, Ghost, Vine, and Crag Root require that mod. And this is what it looks like. It's by AMF Boy, also available on Xbox Creations Club and Nexus mods. So with this information, I think we have a pretty good chance of getting all the plants and animals that we need in order to set up the factory. However, there is another issue, of course, which is when we arrive back here, we're going to have to build it. And this is a list of the buildings and the items that will be necessary in order to set up our introductory factory. I've gone to the next step and I've prepared a list for you of the raw materials and the finished products that you have to combine in order to build those buildings and objects which I showed you before. Of course, there's a lot of ways you can do this. You can beg, borrow, and steal. But for the most part, you're going to be dependent on vendors to sell you those objects. However, if you want to, go to the next step of being a little have a little of a shortcut, here are some console commands that, entered one after another, will give you everything that you need in order to build the factory. Now, I'm not making any moral judgments here. It's up to you to do whatever you want with this list. Next, we have the skills that are required in order to build this kind of factory and outpost. Outpost engineering will be extremely helpful, particularly at level 4, which will cut in half the amount of materials that you need that I just showed you on that previous list. You absolutely have to have at least one level of botany and zoology in order to build your ranches and greenhouses, and surveying at higher levels is going to help you a lot with all of the scanning that you have to do. Now, again, there is a shortcut here. Each time you enter one of these console commands, you increase that skill one level. So 4 times, and you're at the top for all of them. So you can't say that I'm not trying to help you guys. Here are 2 other really great mods that can help with this. The first one, build outpost items with credits. If you have a lot of credits in your wallet, this is a wonderful mod by Aureolanus that allows you to pay for this stuff instead of having to use all raw materials and so on in order to do it. Secondly, ZeeOgres hand scanner tweaks are going to make the scanning in plants a lot easier. And depending on your level, you could get down to only needing 1 scan of a plant or animal to register it. Here is the build outpost item with credits. Again, both of these are available on Xbox and PC. And here's the hand scanner tweaks, again available on both platforms. So with these 2, without using any console commands, your work is going to be a lot easier. But I think that's enough talking now. Let's get out into the spaceship and take a look at the planet and get started. Here we are above Serpentis 4, and I think that this is the coniferous forest. So let's travel there first. So this is the coniferous forest, really pretty. I want to talk for a minute about the scanning, because I have installed ZeeOgres scanning tweaks, which I mentioned before. And because I've maxed out my skills in botany and zoology, 1 click of the scanner, and I scan the item. Now here's the crag root right here, which is, I guess I got to get a little closer. I need that. That's toxin. And we need the bugle weed, and look at that. Here's one right here. Okay, so let's go on to the next stop. Next stop is the wetlands. The satellite ghost vine that gives us sealant. So that's a good first stop. Let's see what else we can find here. Swamp bottle root. That's our fiber. And the rotting stink root. Okay, that's our structural. Now I think we just need to find that big seahorse. Oh, there's one. Up here with the hawks. See where he is. Thought I saw him over here. I guess it's over there. There you go. Notice that after you've scanned them, they turn from blue to green. That way you know whether you've scanned that particular item before. So, okay, we're now done here, and I think our last stop is the savannah. Here we are on the savannah, and let's see, a satellite ghost vine. We need to find the tusk frog, right? A bit bigger than that. Look over here. Ah, there's one. Okay, analgesic. Okay, we're all set. Now let's go build our outpost. All right, here we are up above the planet. As you recall from the earlier discussion, we need to find argon and chlorine, and we want to try and get them together because we need both of them to make our meds. So the thing to do is to go into the resource mode here, which is the bumper on my Xbox controller, and up here is the argon in dark blue. The chlorine is also a dark color, but it's right here. That is in the savannah. I forgot to mention, of course, up here is frozen crevasses. So within the way that Starfield has constructed their planets, as long as you can find two biomes meeting, you will find the resources that are in that biome. You don't have to go down exactly to where the picture shows that they're located. So if we have here savanna and here frozen crevasses, let's just zoom in and try and find a spot that's on the dividing line. Easier said than done. It takes a little bit of fooling around. Still savanna. Savannah. Finally frozen crevasses. So if I could just pinch out a little bit, it should be pretty close. So let's choose that spot and land, and let's see what happens. Wow, we got lucky on the first try. There's Savannah right over there. But I don't like that location. There's too many hills. So I'm going to run or float over to that area in the distance and try and find a flat space that's where we can build unrestricted. I see all that other stuff over there. Or maybe I'll go the other direction. But I'll be back when we find a good site. Okay, I found the marker, and now let's see whether we actually have anything here. And we want to look for the argon. There's argon right there. That's great. And now chlorine should be over on the, and here's chlorine. Okay. Now we're ready to get to work to build. Now let's start to build. So I'm going to go up, and we want to go to the builders category, and we'll put down our 2 animal husbandries. We'll use the small ones to start. I'll put one here and one right across the hall there. Now we need to supply greenhouses, so we're going to need a bunch of these. So we put 2 small ones here. We'll put that will provide the fiber for the greenhouses. Now we need 5 of them for the other materials, so we'll build those. Now we're going to need water for everything, so we'll go up to our extractors again, and we'll use water, and I'm going to use commercial level for this. We'll put one here, and we'll put one over here. Now we have to connect all of this together. But the rule in building outposts is that you wait until you go down and make sure that the facilities are programmed for the right material. We also need power, of course. So let's go back in our build mode and go over here to power. I think that the advanced wind turbines provide 425. We need 52, but we'll put 2 of those down, and then we'll go up, put a standard one that's 60. That should do. Whoop, come on. We're okay with power, so everything will work. Now let's go down and hook everything up at the consoles. Well, I built myself a little greenhouse so we can do this building in the daylight. I put a bed inside. So let's go over, we'll program our greenhouses. We'll start with fiber because we need fiber on its own for products, and there's our little fibers growing there. And let's go to this one. Metabolic agent. Yeah, and there's those. I think this is structural, and that is oh no, next would be sealant. We don't need nutrients, so we didn't scan those plants, and we don't need to. And here, this must be the structural. Yes. And not to get, ain't quite sides. All right. So the last one is toxin. And there we have those cool plants. Okay, well, we have to make sure that our greenhouse, that our husbandries are set to membrane and analgesic. Here we have analgesic. That was built. That's cool. That's good. And over here, membrane. Okay, so we're all set, except we have to go and make sure that our fiber producers that feed the animal husbandry are set to fiber. They're not, so that's set. Excuse me, Mr. Seahorse. Whoops. All right. Fiber. Okay. Well, I think that we just have to hook everything up together and we'll be fine. All right, let's start with the water, which we have to hook up to everything. And now the greenhouse has to be hooked up to animal husbandry. So, looks like I've got plenty of water. We need the water to be hooked up to these guys. Okay, that's showing they all have water. This one's good. This one still doesn't have its fiber yet, but I'm sure it will come. Now we'd have to build something for the to store our output. So we'll go back up to storage, and I like the Dark Star transfer container. It has a very high capacity. I'll never have to worry about that. So now we'll just link up the output from everything. And of course, something we haven't fooled with yet is the we have to make sure that we have our argon and chlorine. And I guess we didn't put down an argon, or did we? No, we might as well put it right here. And now connect that to our container. Now we have to go to our chlorine. We'll also do a small one of those, and that is over here. Oh, we did the chlorine, so I just have to grab the output link and connect that to our container. All right. So let's go down and see whether this all made sense or whether we were just wasting our time here. And look at that. everything is coming in. Of course, it's just small quantities, but that's fine. That's the point. So here, because a day is only 14 hours, it's going to take a long time to generate enough of these products to actually begin to make any of our meds. It might be worthwhile to sleep for a day and see how we do. All right, well, I was hanging out in my little hab here. I built the Midas Manor Home series of workbenches, custom workbenches that are pretty cool, plus a trade authority kiosk that has 11 million in credits. So once we get our factory going, we'll have a place that we can sell everything right away. So, but I think it's time to start to build the factory. But the fact of the matter is that although the serpent just looks all nice and peaceful, there are some very nasty critters out here that look like big grasshoppers, and one sting and your history. So I'm going to physically stay inside my little hab while I build out the first level of factory. So here are the meds that we can make right here in stage 1. The bandages, heal paste, immobilizer, injector, and amp. So we need 4 simple fabricators and 1 compound fabricator. Well, our first step is to build our medical fabricators, and you can see medical fabricator small is what we need, and we need 4 of those. They don't snap, but that's okay. We want to leave a little bit of room between them anyway. And now we need 1 compound, or medium as it's called here. And now we need a storage container, medical storage container, storage medical, large, to put our finished products in. Why don't I put it over here? Now I'm going to have to go over and physically program them. So I think I have to find out where I built them. Here we go. Okay. Well, we'll do the compound one. Okay. We have to program that, and that is making AMP, argon toxin metabolic agent. So the next one here will be bandages. It's already built. We can't make bandages. Oh, I'm sorry. Bandages, fiber and sealant. Man, late at night. Heal paste. Immobilizer. And the last one is injector. Okay, they're all set. Now, the last thing we have to do is we'll go back up when we want to connect our storage inventory here to each of these fabricators. It's got to be lit up for it to actually connect. And now finally to the medium compound. Now let's, oh, did that not connect? Okay. Now we need to connect the output to our storage container. Did I miss this one? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm standing down next to this. I don't know if we've have anything being made yet, but let's check. Not yet. So just to confirm, let's go back up into mode and make sure that they are connected. Ah, here's something. Look at that. We don't have enough power. So let me drop down. We only need 25 more power, so might as well create a power field over here. Now we have just enough, 85. We need 85, but let's go down again and see now whether they're starting to churn out any product here. Look at that. All 5 of them are producing. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back inside, and we're going to sleep for 24 hours, pick up what we have, and then sell it. How's that for a plan? Okay, let's go over and see what we have. Okay, pretty decent. So I'm going to take these out of here. And we're going to go over into my little shack here. And we have a trade authority terminal all set up. And we're going to sell, and I cleaned out all my aids, so these are all the aids that we have, except the med pack stayed in. So 29, that's 174 credits. Heal paste is 480. Immobilizer 581. Injector 184, and amp 825. So altogether, I don't know, I wasn't keeping track, but we'd somewhere around 1,000 credits, maybe something like that, maybe a little bit more. And I added it up, and it's 2194, so that's pretty good for production. And given that we have only the minimum number of greenhouses and animal husbandry, it's not bad. And recall, it's going to make those amount of credits more or less every day that you're active in Starfield. You don't have to come here and do anything except pick them up and sell them. But there are some constraints that you should be aware of. I'm looking at my list again. We need membrane for 2 of these aids and metabolic agent for 2 of them. So it's very likely that sooner or later you're going to see this imbalance reflected in the fact you're not going to get the production that you want. So we may have to build another animal husbandry for membrane and another greenhouse or larger greenhouse. You can see, you can customize this specifically dependent on how you observe the actual production. So I think we're going to cut it here for the first video. This is just stage 1. When we come back, I'm going to go and I'm going to improve this setup by perhaps adding another greenhouse and upgrading some of the animal husbandry. And then we'll go off and we'll set up our stage 2 and stage 3 and possibly stage 4, depending on the time, so we can bring even more of those products in using cargo links. So I hope you got something out of this. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and I'll see you for video number 2. Connect. And now finally to the medium compound. Now let's, oh, did that not connect? Okay. Now we need to connect the output to our storage container. Did I miss this one? Yeah. Okay, well, I'm standing down next to this. I don't know if we have anything being made yet, but let's check. Not yet. So just to confirm, let's go back up into mode and make sure that they are connected. Ah, here's something. Look at that. We don't have enough power. So let me drop down. We only need 25 more power, so might as well create a power field over here. Now we have just enough, 85. We need 85, but let's go down again and see now whether they're starting to churn out any product here. Look at that. All 5 of them are producing. So, okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go back inside, and we're going to sleep for 24 hours, pick up what we have, and then sell it. How's that for a plan? Okay, let's go over and see what we have. Okay, pretty decent. So I'm going to take these out of here. And we're going to go over into my little shack here. And we have a trade authority terminal all set up. And we're going to sell, and I cleaned all my aids, so these are all the aids that we have, except the med pack stayed in. So 29, that's 174 credits. Heel paste is 480. Immobilizer 581. Injector 184, and amp 825. So altogether, I don't know, I wasn't keeping track, but we'd somewhere around 1,000 credits, maybe something like that, maybe a little bit more. And I added it up, and it's 2194, so that's pretty good for production. And given that we have only the minimum number of greenhouses and animal husbandry, it's not bad. And recall, it's going to make those amount of credits more or less every day that you're active in Starfield. You don't have to come here and do anything except pick them up and sell them. But there are some constraints that you should be aware of. I'm looking at my list again. We need membrane for 2 of these aids and metabolic agent for 2 of them. So it's very likely that sooner or later you're going to see this imbalance reflected in the fact you're not going to get the production that you want. So we may have to build another animal husbandry for membrane and another greenhouse or larger greenhouse. You can see you can customize this specifically dependent on how you observe the actual production. So I think we're going to cut it here for the first video. This is just stage 1. When we come back, I'm going to go and I'm going to improve this setup by perhaps adding another greenhouse and upgrading some of the animal husbandry. And then we'll go off and we'll set up our stage 2 and stage 3 and possibly stage 4, depending on the time, so we can bring even more of those products in using cargo links. So I hope you got something out of this. Please subscribe and hit the like button, and I'll see you for video number 2.